All right. Hey, you guys. Happy Hump Day Wednesday. Hopefully, you're having a wonderful one. We definitely have a lot to talk about in today's discussion. I'm going to give it a couple minutes or so as everybody file on in so we can have this conversation. Because I know after Bold finally had something exciting. So, yeah, we got to talk about it. So, let me give it a moment, let the notification come on out, and then we're going to dive right in. All right. Hey, Myra. Hey, Keita. Melissa Spencer. Joyce. Crystal. Shakira. Hola. Shakira. I hope I said Shakira. Shakira. Hola. Hey, Jacqueline. Hey, TA. Stella. Blackpink Me. Connie Cheston. Welcome in, you guys. Welcome in. Yes. We got some stuff to talk about. All right. So, welcome you guys to Soap Corner Talk, where we're going to discuss both The Young and the Restless and The Bold and the Beautiful for November 20th. Happy Hump Day Wednesday. Yeah, we got a lot to unpack. Pretty interesting stuff. I know several of us are probably on the edge of our seats. So, let me. Okay, here we go. I got to find my notes, y'all. So yeah, we got some stuff to talk about. Make sure y'all hit that like button on the way into the room. And yeah, it was an interesting Wednesday. I know Bree is probably going to have a lot to talk about in the midweek chat later tonight. You know what I'm saying, you guys? It was crazy. All right, so without any further ado, let's go ahead and start off with Young and the Restless. We got to talk about Diane sharing a proposal with Jack. We had an argument between Billy and Adam, and we got Sally butting heads with Chelsea, and we got a battle of who's in charge when it comes to Jordan and Ian. All right, so we are going to start out over at Crimson Lights, where we had Connor and Chelsea having a conversation about his day off at school. Connor assures him that, she was wondering if it was going to throw him off, as he's usually try to be consistent. He was okay. Sally pops in and Connor tells her to come over. He talks about how much he misses her, and he knows his dad misses her too. And just because they're not together anymore doesn't mean they could be friends, right, Mom? And Chelsea was looking like, oh, of course, you guys could still be friends. And so they had a little bit of a cordial moment. And when Connor had to take off to meet one of his friends, Chelsea was like, "Look, let's just say I'm sorry. This is difficult." Sally says, "Look, I'm coping and I'm moving on," but pretty much she was like, "Stop already. Let's just cut the crap and stop pretending." Then what was interesting is that she goes into this whole conversation about how it's always been Chelsea, you two belong together, and how Sally doesn't hate her. What happened wasn't all on her, but right now she don't know if she should forgive both of them. And I'm like, really, Sally? You went between both Adam and his brother for a better of a whole year, being pregnant by Adam, and then turn around and was still dating Nicholas, and then you end up breaking up with Nicholas only to get back with Adam. But you got a whole problem with a one-time offer. And I'm not saying what Adam and Chelsea did was right. However, you going back between the two brothers and was pregnant at the same time makes what Chelsea and Adam did, man, it makes it look very small, minuscule at best. So, I mean, in my opinion, yeah, cut the crap. Get over it. And if you're going to move on, move on. But all this stuff about, I don't know whether I should forgive you or not. Girl, please. All the stuff that you done did. I mean, we can go back to LA if you want to go there. But you want to hold somebody to the highest level of accountability. Get over yourself. Anyway, and even in my opinion, I don't want Chelsea and Adam back together either. But her acting like, I don't know if I could ever forgive both of you. Girl, stop. Please. TA said Chelsea do need to stop apologizing to Sally about Adam. Sick of Sally acting all high and mighty about it. It's annoying. Absolutely. You didn't have no problem trying to do that whole situation when it came to those brothers. Not only the brothers here in Genoa City, but can we talk about Wyatt? I mean, you faked a whole illness and then kidnapped his girlfriend because you wanted to lie to Wyatt and gaslight him about an illness so he can get back with you. Stop. Anyway, moving on. Then we got Billy over at Society. He puts a call into Jack and tell him he's on the way over. As he get off the phone, he runs into Adam. And he's like, what is it now, Billy? I mean, Billy was like, you just couldn't help yourself, could you? Why are you mad at Adam? Now, granted, Adam did do the bidding of his dad, but your mama sold the business to Victor Newman. Adam was just a piece in the whole cog. He's the only cog in this whole machine that made this a whole final situation. I don't know. I mean, granted, obviously he's mad, but I mean, just cut it out, Billy. Anyway, he complains about the whole thing about he released all those hit pieces. Adam argues that, look, this was only business. And then he says, poor Billy, always trying to play the victim. Billy knows that he was acting as Victor's puppet. Okay, then go fuss at Victor. That's the one person you haven't confronted. You confronted your mother. He confronted Adam. Why won't you go talk to Victor? Oh, yeah, you're not going to do that, are you? Adam says at least he's succeeding at his Nepo job and you don't even have one. Billy talks about how his actions have consequences. Well, yours do too. I mean, honestly, you thought cheating on Lily to get with Chelsea wasn't going to come back at you. And I mean, Lily has had some questionable decisions lately, which I call her out on too. But I mean, you cheated on Lily to get with Chelsea, and how you start is usually how you end. So maybe that's a little bit of karma, Billy. Adam says at least he's succeeding at his job. Adam is pushing him about being out of a job, kicked out by his own mother. And then Billy talking about, don't mess with me. I'm warning you, not today. Adam was like, look, this ain't my fault that you don't have a company to run. And Billy is like, you know what? He made him look bad to his mother. No, he wasn't the only one. You had Lily in her ear. You had Victor in her ear. And so it was up to Jill to actually say, look, let me actually see what my son is doing. She chose to listen to all these naysayers. Maybe she should have just focused on her son and what actually was going on and made her decision that way. So, I mean, if she was so 10 toes down with Billy, you guys, then maybe she should have focused on Billy and not what people was trying to put in her head. So maybe you need to talk to your mama about that. He goes on to talk about how Adam should have shown some restraint toward his company, especially after what happened with Chelsea. They only slept together one time. One time. Yes, they kept it a secret. But how many times have you broken up other folks' marriages, Billy? I mean, you slept with Summer when you were with Phyllis. You know, the whole situation with Jack and Phyllis. I mean, shall we go on? So, both you and Sally need to take several seats. And we probably will put them in some seats later this week. Don Cooper, welcome, says, oh, we're not talking about Bo just yet. Jacqueline says Adam has to remember that he only got that position by doing his father's dirty work. Yep, that is true. Jenna says she should have sat down with Billy and been honest. That is true too. But I mean, my thing is they're holding them at a level of accountability that they couldn't hold themselves at when they were in those same situations. So now, if they were, standing on the same accountability that they're trying to hold Adam and Chelsea to, then I would call them out on that. I'd be like, well, I mean, but Billy, Sally, yeah, okay. All right, now we got to talk about the chaos over at Sharon's place. So it left us with the cliffhanger from the Tuesday episode because Daniel is hotter than fish grease. So we're in Sharon's living room. Daniel tells her that he heard about her confession. What does he want him to say? Better late than never? He asks, how could she do this to Heather? How could she do this to his family? Nick tried to intervene, but Daniel, he is not deterred. He don't care if she did admit it. That's not enough. I want to know why you did it. You need to tell me why you did it, and I don't want any more lies. Nick holds him back because, I mean, honestly, it looked like Daniel was about to lay hands on her, and I don't think that part would be a good look. Even though I can understand him being pissed off to the highest level of pistivity. Michael cautioned Sharon that she don't have to say anything, which, yeah, because they're in the middle of a court case and, he's now her attorney. Sharon is still apologizing. She talked about her regrets. Daniel is hollering that Heather's dead because unalive, because she had the back of her head smashed in. And now he has to deal with Sharon being the last face that she saw before she passed away. And Sharon was like, I didn't mean for this to happen. Daniel goes on talking about how, she made her life miserable, or his life miserable for his family for all these weeks. Lucy's mother is gone. Sharon's still apologizing. Nick holds Daniel back once again. And this man is seething. He wants answers. And he's like, I'm not going to leave until I get them. Nick warns Daniel, I'm going to need you to calm the French toast down. Michael says, look, it's not the time or the place. Now, Daniel feels like, you know what? No. The time is right. She owed me an explanation. She talk about, you know what? You're right, Daniel. Daniel asked if she went to their place planning to take Heather out. Now, it was an interesting question because she did originally go over there to put poison in the alcohol. She changed her mind. However, she didn't go planning to unalive Heather. She went planning to go over there to unalive Daniel or whoever drank the alcohol. Daniel brings up the framing. Did she just have that much anger and hatred for him and it just came spilling out? And Michael can't allow Sharon to say anything. Daniel doesn't think that, he'll stop. He's going to do whatever the French toast he want to do, just like Sharon's been doing. He wants to know if Sharon is pleading not guilty. Nick will answer all of his questions, and Daniel is railing that he shouldn't even be there. He should be in the hospital with his mom. And he accuses Sharon of running her off the road, and he warns that he will never forgive her for this. And then Nick end up taking Daniel out the door to go to the hospital, and then, they start hugging. Hey, Belinda. That would be interesting, Mari, if Phyllis is listening to everybody around her and playing sleep. That would be interesting. It would be a Phyllis thing to do. Yeah, that was good acting by Michael Graziati. I really agree with that. Bree said Daniel didn't disappoint. She was rooting for him. I'm curious to find out what's going to happen when he find out who's actually behind all of this. That's what I'm curious about. All right, let's head over to the Fleabag Motel. Jordan reading a news report about Sharon's arraignment, and she's sure that he's happy that Ian is happy that everything is falling into place. Now, Ian starts complaining about how long it took her to confess. He wants to know how the family reacted. And Jordan was like, yeah, well, I'm sure they were miserable, but obviously, because Ian is a sadist, he needs facts and details, not speculation. And Jordan was like, look, let me tell you something. It's dangerous for me to be roaming around town. I'm supposed to be in prison when you can roam around freely. You got out of prison clear, free. You're legal to walk the streets. I'm not. You're reformed. And Ian was like, you know what? I could still break a law or two when I need to. Now, Jordan knows what Ian is capable of, but then they talk about practicality. She can't just walk the streets, but Ian reminds her how restricted she felt in that prison. Isn't freedom so much better? Jordan was like, of course it is. And he tells her to remember that clearly. He rescued her from that nightmare because they did an identity switch. So that answers part of our question, because a lot of us was wondering how those two got out of prison. So Ian was released on his own, accord. So he was legally free. And Ian helped her get out by swapping out an identity. So that answers that question. Because we was like, how did she get out? So as far as Victor knows, Jordan is still in prison. She took somebody else's identity. And then they start throwing these threats at each other. And at the end of the day, because Jordan was pretty much trying to put the fear in Ian, and Ian was like, yeah, you gave me purpose, all right, but I'm telling you, you don't want to play with me. So I don't know what's going to happen here, because Ian is a dangerous man, but Jordan is also very dangerous as well. She could actually stick a needle in his neck at some point in time, or maybe put some in his water and he's out of here. So if I was the two of them, I think they both should play nice with each other, because they both have the capability of taking each other out of this world. Jenna says, however, Ian is a sadist. He wants to hear the anguish and the hurt that they're all going through. Absolutely. Jacqueline says, I want to ask questions. Was it Bree or Keish who predicted Jordan would escape from prison? That's a good question. I'm wondering, Bree, it probably was either of us. I know it might have been Keish or Trish. Who knows? Belinda said, I hope Jordan doesn't go after Nikki and drives her to a drink. I really don't want her to go down the rabbit hole again. Me either, especially since now she's got to run Chancellor. But we'll see. But I will say Victor Newman does need some karma. But he ended his whole conversation. He tells her, remember that, that you better be happy about your freedom, because I rescued you from that nightmare. So I need a little bit more respect and obedience, if you don't mind. So they're not playing with each other. All right, let's swing over to the Abbott Mansion. We got this whole conversation about Jack and Diane. So I was wondering what the spoiler was going to be about when they said that Diane was going to make a huge sacrifice that was going to shock Jack. Well, the sacrifice is only to give Kyle the co-CEO position over at Jabot and her run Glissade. And I'm like, okay. And Jack is like, no, why won't you let Kyle run Glissade? And she was like, well, what if, he's not going to be happy with that? He needs a grand gesture. And the grandest gesture that we can make is to get that boy this co-CEO, and Jack is fighting her on it. And I'm like, look, we're back at square one all over again. We've been having this conversation about Kyle being co-CEO for almost a year now. A little bit, Melissa, thank you. You know what I'm saying? And there go Jenna. Jenna says, I do not trust Diane. But you know what? She don't realize I'm curious to see what Victor did to that company, because as much as she wants to run Glissade, what did Victor end up doing to glissade. So you know what? If I was Jack, I'd be like, you know what? Fine. I'll bring Kyle back over at Jabot, and I'll just take you. You go ahead and do what you want to do with glissade. So they went into this whole back and forth, about this thing. However, Billy came into the room, and so now they had to go back to fighting. And Diane, I gotta give it to, what is her real name? Lord, oh God, Susan Walters. I gotta give it to Susan Walters because she flipped the script midstream in that conversation. She went from being loving wife to mortal enemy in less than a nanosecond. Oh yeah, Bree, I know you're gonna have a lot to say about that whole thing tonight. And she played that well. And so Jack had to, when she threw her eyes to the right, and he turned around and looked to see Billy in the room, he was like, "Oh, let me get on cue." I thought that was the funniest thing ever. They did a good job. Susan can act her butt off. Talent. She switched flipped the script. Might as well call it. She flipped the script in a nanosecond, just like that. So you see how she can change on a dime. That's what I mean. Yeah, I mean obviously Diane can, but Susan Walters, she changed. She did that perfectly. I got to give her kudos for that. And then she left. Billy was like, "Oh my God, I didn't know you. I thought your marriage was still had an opportunity. Your marriage is in shambles." And he was like, "You know what? Enough about me. Let's talk about you. What's going on?" And he said, "You know what? Not only did I lose my company, I lost my mother." And Jack had the look of shock on his face. That was crazy. So I guess we will see what Jack's response is going to be after they complete that conversation. We got to go back over to the hospital. So, Daniel and Nicholas arrived over at the hospital. Summer's already there. Nicholas is by her bed telling her to wake up. "I'm sorry, you were right." And at the same time, Daniel comes in there. He's pissed. He wants answers. They go outside, and it looks like we got a battle between Nick trying to support Sharon, saying this is about her bipolar situation, whereas Daniel, of course, is going to support her mom, saying that, "You listen, why are you trying to take up for Sharon and give her an insanity plea, and my mom is in there laying unconscious?" This is going to be an interesting dynamic between this family because we got Faith and we got Summer. Not only are they sisters, but both their moms are in the middle of this. So Faith is probably going to take Nicholas' point of view and say, "Hey, my mom didn't mean this. This was her bipolar situation." And Summer, on the flip side, is going to be like, "I don't care about that. Your mom did something to my mom, and now we're in this situation." I'm wondering, are we going to get a scene between Faith and Summer where something escalates between the two of them, and even Mariah gets involved? Exactly, Jenna. We already saw Faith blaming Phyllis, but Summer blamed Sharon. I'm curious, that would make a very interesting scene if we had that where the two sisters are at each other because of their moms. You know what I mean? So, yeah, this is going to be messy, messy, messy. And of course, Daniel is, I mean, we see Daniel he's mad. Number one, he was framed. He lost his girlfriend. I mean, it's a hot mess. So he has every right to be upset. Nicholas, on the other hand, knows the ins and outs of Sharon and what has been happening. And so does Faith and Mariah. So, and the other thing, Daniel and Mariah are very good friends. So how is that going to impact their friendship as well? Because Daniel is going to want to take up for his mother. Mariah is going to want to take up for her mother. So we're going to have a divide in these families, especially since they're all intertwined through siblings, friendships, all types of situations. Yep. This is going to be interesting. So again, Y&R is sweeping this month. We also had the conversation with Michael and Cricket. Michael and Cricket, they talked about how, he's taking Sharon's case, and Cricket is like, good luck with that. You actually gonna defend this? And he was like, well, I got a job to do. I got hired, so I gotta do what I gotta do. Now, what was interesting is Cricket saying how she had some theories of believing what Phyllis was telling her, but she also said when talking to Michael that she don't know how Sharon could have done this. So there's still a little bit of doubt in the air. So that's going to be interesting when this go to court. Ian mentioned to Jordan how were the children dealing with everything, and he wants to know how bad. Yeah, he's a sadist, TA. Belinda is like, I'm wondering when Lucy comes back what Faith is going to do. Now that's even going to be interesting too, because Lucy and Faith, this is how all this got started, over this friendship situation, right? So that's going to be interesting to see as well, whether or not, we're going to have a situation between Lucy and Faith too. You know what I mean? So I'm wondering what she's going to say about that, And then we head back over at the ranch, where we're at Sharon's house. And hold on one second, I have to type this in right quick. But we're over at Sharon's house where she's having a we'll reconvene next time. Hold on one second. Okay. So we had the this is the last thing with Y&R. We had this situation with Sharon and Mariah. And Mariah is trying to figure out, how the heck did this happen? How did we get here? And then after Sharon did all that confessing, I need to clear my conscience, blah, 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 blah. It comes down to, I don't know how we got here. I don't know how I did this. And I'm like, well, why was you so gung-ho on professing or confessing all of this when you're like, well, I really don't know how this happened? I'm like, wow. So, because she got out on bail, Jenny, in the Tuesday episode, the Tuesday, November 19th episode, Michael arraigned her, and she was able to get out on bail. Yep. So, all right, we're going to keep it moving because we got to talk about Bold, and I've actually spent a half an hour. Sheesh. I've actually spent a half an hour on Y&R today. All right, so let me give it a grade. I'm going to give it a B+. Let's see what your grade looks like in the chat. Let's see. All right, we got some A's, we got some B's. A's, B. Oh, Myra gave it a C+. DeJuan gave it a C+, A-. There we go. Okay, we got B's and C's, a couple of D's. We got a couple of A's in there. All right, let's get to this foolishness on the Bold and the Beautiful, y'all. Let's get to this foolishness on Bold. We got to talk about it. Oh, Bree gave it an A-. All right, girl. I know you was enjoying the situation that was happening with Daniel and him raging out. Right? I know that's what it was, because I know she was like, oh, I can't wait. I cannot wait until Daniel go off on Sharon. So, yep. Okay, let's talk about bold. We had where Hope was telling her mom that she feels supported. She almost let it slip. Neither of these two have poker faces. They can't be sneaky at all. I mean, how many times did Hope get caught in the design room? How many times did these? I mean, he got caught with Quinn. It's like y'all don't know how to be slick. But anyway, Steffi feels disrespected, and Finn and Taylor worry that Hope is a loose cannon. So let's start with the conversation that we had with Brooke and Hope. Okay. So Brooke is at the cabin, and Hope thanks her mom for talking to Finn, but she says time may be already running out. And Brooke was like, what are you talking about? What does that mean? And Hope is sitting up there like, well, yeah. And then she tried to cover by saying some vague stuff about change. Her mom tells her she's gonna get through this, and she's gonna support her. And Hope appreciates that her mom has been giving her lots of support. Hope feels like I finally have a man who has the courage to stand by my side. And I'm like, you do remember Thomas, right? Thomas was fighting his family to be with you. So, you mean you finally have a man to stand by your side? Y'all are really trying to, writers, eradicate Thope. And that ain't got nothing to do with this channel. We wanted Thope as much as anybody else. I don't understand why they're really trying to make it look like Thope was just non-existent. It doesn't make any sense. Yeah, Mari, they don't know how to keep their mouth shut. That's how things get out, and then they want to act all dumb. I agree. Brooke needs to pick a side. Is she on Hope's side, Sherelle says, or Ridge's side? When do this freak take over? I want to know. I guess we'll have to see. But they go on talking about how handsome Carter is and how committed he is. And Brooke points out, oh, and the biggest thing is that he's not married to anyone. Thomas wasn't married to anyone. She was married to Liam when she got with Thomas. So, I mean, I don't understand. What are you talking about? Thomas wasn't married to anybody. He wasn't even in a relationship with anybody when Hope was with him, or when she stepped out of her marriage to be with Thomas. What are y'all talking about? Writers, the rewrite is insane. But that was crazy, and she was like, that's the most important part, adding that she worried that there could be trouble between Carter, Ridge, and Steffi. She worries that he could distance himself from them because of her. No, he's being distanced because of this whole plan that y'all have. That's stupid. When y'all could just tell the truth that the two of you are in a relationship. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. And she goes on about how Carter is risking everything for the underdogs, and she hoped that he doesn't cross lines when he doesn't want to. Then maybe you should have stopped him, because he already had second thoughts in yesterday's episode when he was like, I don't know if I should do this. This undermines my integrity. I've never done something like this. You turn around and you were the one to say, yeah, but. So now you're worried about him risking everything when he tried to talk himself out of it yesterday, and you say, yeah, but. Make that make sense? Bree said, I have so much to say about Hope after that conversation with Brooke. Girl, I believe you too. I believe you, and I'm looking forward to it too. So yeah, that whole conversation, she was talking about how her and Carter can achieve anything together. And Brooke just prays Steffi comes to her senses and walk out. Maybe if y'all help her come to her senses by saying, yeah, we're seeing each other. It wasn't about Finn. maybe this wouldn't be an issue. Steffy can be mad all she want if you in a relationship, but it's none of Steffi's business. So yeah, that whole conversation was crazy to me. I mean, I'm like, y'all going around the world and back for something as simple as just telling the truth about a relationship that probably nobody in their company is really going to care about. All right, let's head over to the Cliff House. I want to know. Okay, Sherelle says, I want to know, is it going to be a fight between Ridge and Carter? He was looking at Carter when he saw the name on those papers. So I looked at the promo? I looked at the promo, and I also looked at the spoiler for November 21st. That spoiler says Ridge sees how invaluable Carter is. And I'm like, okay, one or two things are going to happen. Because I got really excited, and we'll talk about that, in a hot minute. But yeah, let me go over to first. Let's get Taylor and Fan out the way. So we're over at the Cliff House. Taylor is telling Fan that she admires his commitment to his patients and to Steffy. And he talks about how Steffy and the kids are his world. And Taylor thinks that his daughter is blessed to have them, which leads to jealousy like Hope. And I'm like, see, this is where all of this could be shut down. Because they're trying to make it look like, oh my God, Hope is so jealous over Steffy and Finn's relationship. Now, we cannot ignore that Hope did try to go after her husband. Matter of fact, in that same day that Carter made his intentions known, she was daydreaming about Finn when Carter walked in the room before that whole conversation about seeing her in underwear. So we can't ignore that, right? But now that she has moved on, maybe if you just sit up there and say, hey, me and Carter are seeing each other, that'll shut this whole conversation down about, oh, she's just jealous about the fact that that Steffy and Finn are in a relationship and she just wants him so bad. Sorry, Finn. Sorry, Taylor. It's not like that right now. Now, of course, they don't know what's going on, but Brooke, Carter, and Hope knows, and they just refuse to tell the secret. Now, I do have some clips. I cannot play it because I would get a copyright claim, and I know we're going to try to work on some things because there are some bonus scenes that wasn't aired in yesterday's episode. And maybe I'll have that for you guys later tonight. So I don't know if you guys ever see the bonus scenes, things that were cut out, or maybe an alternative scene, whatever they want to call it. But it was played in Australia, and I saw it. And there was where we did not see in the U.S. yesterday, where Finn actually asked Brooke, you know what, I'll play it for you guys. Hold on. Let me see if I'll play it for you. Oh, my phone shut down. What happened? Okay, there we go. I'll play it for you guys. We actually heard in that bonus scene, and I don't know if you guys have seen it. Hold on, let me pull it up. I gotta go through like 10,000 messages. I should have just saved it to my phone. Hold on one second. Let me know if you've seen the bonus scenes, because I know that, I would think that we all should get those extra scenes. Okay, so hold on one second, and I'm going to play it for you guys, all right? You saw it, KH? Okay, gotcha. Okay, let me play it for you guys. It's about 58 seconds. Here we go.
Brooke, but she's not being honest about this.
She is. Finn, you have to believe me. Convince Steffi what she's doing is wrong. She shouldn't be firing Hope.
Brooke, facts don't lie. I came in to drop off Steffi's tablet. She came out from the changing screen in nothing but lingerie and then threw herself on top of me. That's what happened. Okay, she can't deny it.
Look, I know it looks bad, But that's not really what happened. You and Steffi are mistaken. Hope just tripped and fell into your arms. It was an accident.
Brooke, she was making a play for me. I know that's not what you want to hear, but it's the truth.
No, she was.
And I told her, in no uncertain terms, that I wasn't going to take that anymore. Okay, honestly, I don't know why you guys are faulting Steffi for reacting the way that she did, after she'd already given Hope a second chance after kissing me.
She apologized for that and said it would never happen again.
Brooke, but it did. And there's no explanation for it. I mean, I can't think of one. Can you? No, you can't. Can you?
Okay, so if you guys remember yesterday, I was calling Finn out for not asking Brooke about, can you explain why it was happening? At the end of that clip, he asked her, can anybody explain anything differently? And she refused to give an answer. We didn't see that here in the U.S. I have another bonus clip for you guys, so hold on. I have a second one.
I know that you love your daughter and you want to believe her, right? But Brooke, what she did was not okay. It wasn't okay what she did at Eric's, and it wasn't okay when she threw herself at me in the office.
She wasn't making a play for you, Finn. Trust me.
You weren't there. You didn't see what Steffi saw. She has every right to be upset, as do I. Hope was messing with our family.
No, she's not trying to undermine your marriage. Not at all. You're wrong about that. And Steffi is wrong for firing Hope.
Steffi can't work with Hope anymore. You got to understand that. Look, Hope left Steffi no other choice but to fire her. That's the only way the company can function.
Finn, come on. You gotta believe me. Hope does not deserve to be punished for something she did not do. You've got to talk to Steffi and convince her to back off.
All right, so there you go, you guys. Even the tone is different. What we saw here in the U.S. episode was much different than what was given. So, I mean, that could be a whole nother conversation. But what I called Finn out for yesterday was not asking Brooke, if there's anything different, I need to know what that is. I need an explanation. And Brooke didn't give it to him. So I'm glad I was able to see that. Yes, TA, this is different. It makes the scene different. That's one thing I like about my channel, and one thing I like about myself is that I try to be objective. I want us to see the whole picture. I don't like being edited out, and I know they might have their reasons. I'm not going to fault them for doing that. But if I find out that there's stuff that we need to know, I'm going to share that with you guys, okay? So even though I can't put it on the screen because I would get a copyright claim, I want to at least let y'all hear the audio. You guys are so welcome. Totally different than what we saw yesterday. Okay? All right. So, back to the scene where we had with, we were talking about Finn and Taylor. I honestly believe that how many times do we have to ask, how many times does Steffi or anybody at Forrester have to ask Hope, if it wasn't for Finn, who were you dressing up for? They asked her 5 times before she got fired. We saw Ridge ask Brooke over at the house. She refused to answer. We now know Finn asked her. She refused to answer. So, I mean, I don't blame him. Like, look, if it was me, just put yourself in this situation. So, if somebody says what you thought you saw was wrong, I need you to believe me. And I say, okay, fine. Show me why I should believe you. Tell me why what I saw was wrong. And you don't give me the details. What do you expect me to do? Just take your word for it. That's crazy. That's crazy. You know what I'm saying? So, anywho, the situation with Taylor and Finn, I'm like, okay, y'all don't know the whole story. Because, I mean, we got to give, even though they're lying and keeping this a secret, they're having this whole conversation about jealousy. when it's not even that. But the reason that they think it is because of, you know, them not knowing the truth. Yep. All right, let's head over to the Forrester office. So I wanted to share that with you guys. I didn't, I might play it again later because there are people that probably will be on the midweek chat that's not here on the midday chat. Okay. So if you guys want to hear it again, I'll play it for you guys later. Or anybody that's listened to this replay, because a lot of people listen to it after the live. Then therefore, you can come into tonight's live or whatever. So, anywho. All right, so we over at the Forrester office. Carter urges Ridge to override his daughter. I'm like, oh my God, Carter, this is not a good look. What really got me on this whole thing is him complaining about how, he's been treated and how the Logans are being treated. And Ridge is like, look, this is getting out of hand. He's like, look, we're friends. We can figure this out. And he was like, stop treating me like an employee. Carter, come here. Let me talk to you. I'm going to talk to you in your ear. Carter, you are an employee. You're an employee, Carter. I mean, seriously. You're an employee. I don't understand. What do you think you have? If you were a partner in the company already, you wouldn't be trying to do what you're doing now. Begging for your ideas or any of that. Because if you were an equal partner, this would be a non-discussion. It's not a discussion. I'm like, dude, you have lost all perspective. I don't like the writing. I don't like the writing of Carter. I like the Carter that we've seen before. Now, I don't like the fact that he keep getting his heart broken. But I'm like, listen, don't turn this man into a villain. Please, y'all already made Zende a villain for the better of the beginning of 2024, even all the way up to September. Please don't make Carter a villain. I mean, seriously. Bree says Steffy is better than me. He would have been gone talking to me like that. I mean, yeah. I mean, they had a whole argument. We even saw Steffy. Steffy went there. Steffy went for the jugular. She called Hope the B word. Yeah, I know, KH. The Carter character has lost all credibility. I'm going to say that. The writers were making Carter a villain. Yep, that is correct, Joyce. I'm shocked Ridge and Steffy allowed all that. I agree with that. The way that he was talking to him, what you better do, and you better do this, and you need to overstep your daughter, and she's like, wait a minute, what about how I've been treated? Carter don't give a rat's behind about none of that. Carter gives out warning that if they don't heed his advice, that it's going to be a problem. And Ridge looking at his daughter like, what do you mean? What do you mean? And Carter was like, you need to change their position on Hope for the future before it's too late. And again, Ridge was like, what's that supposed to mean? So all three of them are going back and forth, and Carter declares that he won't let Steffy steer the company in the wrong direction. He demands that they reinstate Hope, and that they have talk about and also talk about his luxury brand idea. Steffy was like, look, we already talked about that multiple times, and that ain't happening. And by the way, Carter, I'm losing faith in you. That's what Steffy said. Steffy said she's okay with losing buyers as long as she don't have to work with that B. And she was like, let me make sure I'll say it again for everybody in the back to hear it. Hope Logan is a B. And boy, you can see the fire in Carter's eyes. Ridge tried to calm things down. Steffi doubled down. Carter was like, you know what? Fine. And Ridge goes into this whole thing about the changes on the LLC. So he asked for the LLC papers. Carter pulls them out, hands them over. Ridge and Steffi sign the paperwork without reading, and Carter, yeah, he's anxious. He's watching. Ridge gets to the last page. He notices Carter's signature is already there and asks, "What's going on?" Carter freezes up, and I was screaming. I was screaming because I'm like, oh my God, Ridge, he caught it, he read it. And the thing is, I hope Ridge don't be stupid. Yeah, Vicky, I'll play it again tonight. I hope Ridge don't be stupid, because that spoiler for tomorrow is insane, where it says Ridge realizes how invaluable Carter is. Really? What does that mean? And then Steffi, on the other hand, in that same spoiler for the 21st, Steffi is doubting him. So I'm hoping, because see, if that was Victor Newman, if Victor had saw that, Carter would have been done in that moment. Ain't no negotiation. Ain't no, let's see how valuable this man is. If that was Victor and somebody tried to pull that on Victor, oh yeah, there's no discussion. I don't even think Victor would allow that type of conversation in his office. I would have loved to see Carter try to pull that with Victor Newman and see how that goes down. Yeah, because all that loud talking that Carter did and being disrespectful and all that, there is no way in HE double hockey sticks that Victor Newman would have allowed that to happen in his office. He's thrown out many people for trying to outmaneuver him. That's why, I honestly, even as much as Steffi tries to stand on business, Ridge is not a good business owner. He's just not. He barely even want to be a CEO. He's just not a good business owner. Jenna, you said you would have fired Carter right then and there, point blank period. I don't blame you. That was insane. But I was screaming, y'all. As Bree. I got in the group chat because we can do voice messages or voice memos. And I was like, oh my God. Ridge caught the signature. And I'm thinking like, please don't fake us on this cliffhanger for tomorrow. Hey, Kit Kat says that there's 51 likes and 160 people in this chat. I had stopped asking for likes, but excuse me, you guys. At least another 30 likes would be nice. That'd be half. That'd be 50% engagement of 160 would be 80. Carter should learn from Michael. He was still begging to be Victor's lapdog. Girl, tell me about it. Bree, tonight we're going to get serious about them two freaks. Carter would have been history when he raised his voice the first time. Exactly. I don't even see how both Ridge and Steffi was even able to deal with that behavior. Listen, there's no way, whether I'm virtually on a conference call or in front of my supervisor, manager, director, VP, or anybody else, that I'm going to come up in there talking like Carter did, and don't think that they're going to hand and show me the door. Melissa said, I wish Carter would have put Eric's names on those papers instead of his. Eric would then be in charge and rehire Hope. I don't know. I guess we'll have to see what's going to happen after tomorrow. Jenna said Carter's going to jail and Steffi won't rest until she sees him there if he takes over the company. Thank you, Mari. Thank you for the likes. I appreciate you. So, yeah, we're going to talk more about it. Jenna said you can bet it will take Steffi to do it. Sherelle said, I wonder if Carter will get caught. what will happen to Hope now that she's already fired. Ridge and Eric are not worth anything in that company. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting Thursday episode, but this is what we needed. And if you notice, we did not have any Will and Electra today. I think we're going to get more of Will and Electra on Friday. You know, so we shall see. But let's put a grade. I'm actually going to give it an A today. Let's put your grades in the chat, you guys. And I'll play that bonus scene tonight. Even though, you know, some folks might hear it in the replay or whatever. But I'm going to give it an A today. You know, it's been getting low marks over the past week, but it was insane today. That was one heck of a cliffhanger. One heck of a cliffhanger. Okay, we got a lot of A's and B's, a couple C's. There we go. Thank you, guys. I'll change it to a C for now. There you go, Sherelle. Sounds good. All right. Okay, so we're going to end it here, you guys. Make sure you come back later tonight. Bria will be with us as we do the midweek chat. You know Bria got a lot to say about both soaps. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on your notifications so you're notified every time a video has been posted. I'm T from Soap Corner Talk. And until the next one, we will see you guys later. Bye, Soapies.